Hey everybody, I'm Marcus with Barrios and Associates Realty. Today I'm launching a new series for us here at Barrios and Associates Realty that we want to share with you guys. This is going over the Florida as-is residential contract series. Okay, this is going to be a course where we're going to go over the entire as-is contract in the state of Florida, paragraph by paragraph. Every program will be a different section of it. Okay, now we're going to talk in a language that realtors use, and we're going to talk in a language that you can use when you're talking to your buyers or your sellers or other agents as well. Now, a little bit of housekeeping first, okay, is I'm not an attorney and I'm not offering any type of legal advice. I'm a licensed real estate broker. I've been licensed in Florida since 2002, and I got a wealth of experience working with this contract as well as all the others. We do a lot of transactions here on Barrios and Associates Realty. I've got plenty of agents here, and questions come up all the time. The answers that I'm going to be giving you, the descriptions of the paragraphs, is based on my experience, what I've learned doing deals here in the state of Florida, talking with title people, talking with lenders, and talking with attorneys. At any point, if you have a question or anything you'd like to reach out to me about, feel free to do so. Now, as we move forward, there's something that I like to point out that's going to help you follow along. On the as-is contract here, on the left-hand side of the page, when you're looking at it, all the lines are numbered. Now that's how I refer to the contract. I'll say, let's take a look at line 17, or let's take a look at line 122. And that's where I'm referring to, so if you want to follow along with a contract of your own, you can do that as well, okay? So today I'm going to start off with a very basic part of the contract, something that all real estate agents need to be familiar with, enough, because this is how you start off a contract. This is paragraph 1. It starts off as parties. Now, it's really simple. You know, line 1 is parties. You got seller and you got buyer. Sounds simple enough, right? But when you're putting a seller down on the contract, you have to look up on the tax roll. Here in Miami, we go to the miamidade.gov, we go to property search. You put the address of the property. Whatever name is there is the name you put on line 1 for seller. If you run into the seller of the property and he says, hey, my name is, you know, so-and-so, and I'm the seller of the property, if that name is not on the miamidade.gov, that's not the name you use. You use the name that's listed on the public tax roll. That's the legal owner of the property. If it's a company, if it's a corporation, it's easy enough. You can look that up on Sunbiz, and its officers and agents are listed there. So maybe the person who gave you that name, maybe that's what they were talking about. Buyers, obviously, if you're working with a buyer, you should have their full name as it goes on their driver's license. This is going to include their middle name as well. Okay, you don't know how many times it's going to happen that a lender or a title company is going to require clarity on someone's name, particularly if you have a buyer or a seller with a common name, like a John Smith or a Roberto Rodriguez. These are names that pop up with a lot of different people, so you need to provide clarity on which John Smith or which Robert Rodriguez you're talking about. So that's very important. Now, on property description, I see all kinds of things on contracts. We see street address, right? That's simple enough. It's located in blank county, in our case, Dade. And the property ID number, we refer to that as the folio number. The legal description, again, miamidade.gov is going to provide you with the exact legal description. You can copy and paste there. But right now, we have something with Form Simplicity that it will put that content on there. If you ask it and you put the address in Form Simplicity, it'll show up. It'll also import the information from the MLS, okay? Now, I'm gonna skip over to a part in the paragraph that I think a lot of agents sometimes have trouble with. I get questions, especially from agents that are newer to the business and they haven't really had experience writing a lot of contracts, okay? And that's paragraph D on paragraph 1, line 15. Now this says that unless excluded in paragraph 1E, or by other terms of the contract, that means somewhere written on the contract, the following items which are owned by the seller and existing on the property as of the date of the initial offer are included in the purchase. What that says is that on the day that your buyer makes an offer, if there is a Frigidaire stainless steel refrigerator there, and there's an accompanying set, and they're all identical, those are the appliances that have to be there for closing. That's what the buyer is bargaining for. That's what they're negotiating for. Okay? It will happen from time to time that you'll have a seller that'll say, hey, wait a minute, I said I was going to offer a refrigerator and a stove, not that refrigerator, not that stove. No, it is that refrigerator and that stove. This also goes for the washer and dryer or any other appliances that might be around the house. When you're in the garage and there's a washer and dryer in there and it's a very nice, modern, front-loading, computer, excellent-looking washer and dryer, I look at the listing agent or I look at the seller and I go, are those washer and dryers included in this sale? And we'll clear it up right then. If it's not, I'm going to address it on this part of the contract. Now I'm looking at right now, line 20. Other personal property items included in the purchase are. So you'll notice in this paragraph that a lot of things are mentioned. You got range, ovens, refrigerators, dishwashers, disposals, ceiling fans, intercoms, light fixtures. It goes on and on. If it's not in the property, it doesn't mean that the seller has to provide it. It just says if they're there and they're owned by the seller, unless it's otherwise excluded on the contract, it's part of the sale. So what comes up? People might say this chandelier in the dining room is not included. So it's not included. The refrigerator that we have in the garage, the extra one, we're taking that one with us. Okay? The washer and dryer, we're taking those so there won't be a washer and dryer. Or we're going to replace them with another type and model of washer and dryer. And that's all okay, as long as it's okay with your buyer and your seller and it's put in writing and it's on the contract. Because what happens? Eventually you're going to run into a sale where you're going to do a walkthrough the day of the closing or the day before, and the washer and dryer are not going to be there. Or worse, it's going to be a different type of washer and dryer. And your buyer's going to say, wait a minute, wasn't there a washer and dryer here? Yes. And the seller's going to say, that was never included in the sale. You didn't put it in the contract. I'll admit, when this happened to me a long, long time ago, I had to learn this lesson the hard way. And at the closing table, we actually had to call up a few places, find out how much a washer and dryer would cost, and I had to credit that to my buyer at closing. It was a lesson that I learned, but I was never going to do it again. If the washer and dryer are in the house and they're included, you include it on line 20. Other personal property items included in this purchase are. Okay? If something's not included, like a chandelier or window treatments or appliances, then they would be put on line 23. Paragraph 1, subparagraph E. The following items are excluded from the purchase. And you write them. You put them in there. You make sure that they're there and they're present, so when the contract gets signed, it's evident to everybody that these items are or not included on the property contract. Now, that's it for now, okay? I'm gonna go over paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4 with another class, but right now, it's important you just remember, parties are parties. Get the full names in there. Property besides the house is included in paragraph 1 of the property description. Make sure that what's not listed there as being included is included, and if the seller is excluding something, then it's also listed there. Okay, thanks a lot for your time. I look forward to this series. I hope you guys get as much out of it as I do. Thanks a lot. Hello, how do you do?